Hello pilots, this is rcplanetim, and it looks like I'm going to do a review of an airplane, but it ain't. It is a new plane, I got it in today, but I'm not doing a review of this airplane, but I am going to try to put this camera on this little plane and show everybody how I do that. That's what this video is about, installing this little camera on this little plane cheaply. So let's get the plane out and see what it's about first. It is a cool little plane though. Alright. Okay. You're seeing this just how I'm seeing it. Oh. Okay, let's open this door up too. Alright, here's the power wires. First thing I'm going to cut that little yellow tag off, man. That definitely can get in the way of what I'm trying to do. These are the power wires that I'm going to tap into. I'm just removing this little yellow tag right there for now. Alright. Alright. Okay, now let's see how this plane goes together. Probably pretty simple. Alright. This probably hooks. That's probably the white. And that's probably the elevator. Okay. I can see where they hook in. They hook in right here. It looks like right here and here. Coming real close there. It looks like that's where that hooks in. That's where that hooks in. But I'm not going to hook them in right now because I want to see how much wire I'm going to need. So I'm going to put my camera here, and I'm probably going to run it back, the wires back to about here, and then put a hole right about there. And then, boy, it's going to take a lot of extra wire for this one. This is going to be tough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this off to the side, set this down. Here's the battery that goes with it. And don't really care about getting the plane started, and I hope it runs. I hope the plane is okay. Probably should just make sure of that first, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go ahead and see about installing the camera. So what I would do here is figure out about where I want this camera on this airplane. Where do I want this camera on this? I need to put on my goggles though and check it out. I'm going to grab my goggles and I'm going to see about where I want that camera at on this plane, because, you know, like I said, I don't know exactly how it's going to look, and I want to make sure I like it. Alright, now hook this camera up. That's the airplane battery. I have any charger, and I just take it right out of it. It'll work. Just work. Alright, take the cover off. Look in here. What channel is this thing on? Channel 8. Should have been on 1, but 8 it is. Where do I want it? I have to stick it right about there. Look. It's going to look just like it's going to be a little bit tricky. Just keep my finger right there. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to put just a little bit of clear tape here. Alright, I'm going to put some clear tape about where I want my camera to go. Maybe a little more than I want my camera to go. Because this way when I pull the camera back off, it shouldn't mar nothing, if you know what I mean by that. Put one there, and I'm going to put a little bit more, probably more than I need there, longer than I need, pieces of tape. But, okay, now the reason I put that there, because when I grab the tab, one of these tabs, and that's what it is, foam mounting tape. Foam mounting tape. I'm going to take this foam mounting tape. I'm going to take one of them little tabs off the foam mounting tape. See how it's cut into these little tabs? And make sure you put it where the clear tape is. So when you pull it, you can take this camera. This way should be able to take my camera off and on. I'm not sure how that's going to work. And then see, this is the first time I'm trying this one. I usually just tape the camera down, but I want to be able to reuse this camera. So now I'm going to re-look and see how that looks in my goggles. See if I, am okay with that. See if that looks alright. If that does, I'm going ahead with the installation. And then I'll be able to take this camera off and on by unplugging this plug right here and pulling the camera off. just unplug that plug there and pull the camera off, and I should be able to put it back on anything I want to when I'm done using it for this plane. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I wonder if we could somehow. I don't know. Let me try something here. No. It's actually not a bad picture in my goggles there. Hopefully, maybe you can see that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm fine with that in my goggles. Okay. So now I've got to figure out just a little something, not much. I'm going to tap into these wires. These are the power wires, positive and negative power wires that go to the plane. And the battery's going to plug up right here to power the plane. And I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to drill a hole, and I'm going to try to keep this plug on top, see? So that way I can just unplug it. I might take a little piece of clear tape and even put a little tab there or something to hold that. But I don't know if I'm going to need to or not yet. So I'd say it's pretty far back, man, isn't it? Okay, well, that's a long cord going back to that there. You know that? I could tape it right after that plug, though. Okay, alright. So I'm going to drill a hole. Remember, I just got this and everything, so I'm just trying to make sure when I commit to something, it looks like I'm going like this. When I commit to something like this, I guess it's how it goes. I should read the instructions, I guess, for the plane. There it goes. Alright. And right here to here to here. So right about there is where I need that power wire going down. Alright, now I'm going to take this little screwdriver. The only thing on the table at this time. And I am going to put a hole right through this plane. And that's where I'm going to put my wires, start my wires to go down to reach those cords. Alright, now this wire like this. Now what I'm going to do here after that is I can take this and I'm going to unplug this adapter. I can take this and clip that wire and then add more wire to run down through here, and then when I want to take off the plane, I unconnect it there, boom. But I don't want to tear up this adapter. I've got over here some other plugs. I just got to make sure the polarity is the same. I believe it is. See this? And I can probably use one of this little plug. It ain't got much wire on it though. And I will have to add more wire. I'm going to use this little plug. I decided I am going to have to just add more wire, like I said. And I'm in the process of adding that wire onto that little plug. I didn't have to splice this one. See, it's the same plug. And I would have had to splice this one and added more wire. But I'm going to try to use this one with barely any wire on it. But they are the same identical plugs. And hopefully, let's turn this with outside, making sure these, yeah, the polarity should match up. The polarity should match up, and I'll make sure they do all the way down the line. Always check your polarities when you're splicing a wire. Okay? And you know where the scissors are? I'll get them, baby. I'll get them snips over here. It'll work too. What to do? Okay, yeah. Okay. I'll get me just a little bit of tape now. Tape these wires, and these snips ain't too good for that. I really would rather have my razor knife, believe it or not. I'm gonna go get my razor knife. Oh, here's one. I think it's getting a little bit bad off, but I have the idea. Go ahead, cut this. Cut me a little teeny piece of tape off here. It won't take much tape to tape that wire up. Let's get a little teeny bit of little insulation around there. About any kind of thin little tape will work. I don't use clear tape though. I use like, something equivalent to some thin masking tape, but real thin, you know. Paper tape or something, it'd work. There. Let's keep that from touching. Now I'll get this wire. I'm going to add on this one with this one. You should put a piece of solder on this. I've got a soldering gun, but it runs so little current that I don't think it needs to be soldered. But you can if you want to. If you're that good of a pro, yeah. Never had a problem. I've got my soldering gun over there, but I forgot to plug it up. So it's cold, so I'm just going to do this. Keep wrapping. Had to get my glasses on because the wrapping is tight. It's really hard to see without some kind of magnification, man. Okay. This tiny little piece of tape. That's all you need to cut off. And if it's a little bit more than you need, we'll just cut it for you. Oh yeah, that looks good though. A little long, but a couple wraps and I'll just cut it off. Cut the rest of that tape off. I don't think I need that much of it. Maybe not. Oh yeah. Now make sure I didn't somehow leave a little bit of wires exposed so they could short out. And if I want to be safe, I guess I could go ahead and take a little bit of wire tape and take it all the way up to there. If I just wanted to, I'm going to do that. And I mean just a teeny bit. A lot of people could use something else a lot better. I don't have nothing like those little heat shrink tubing stuff or something like that. That would be really good if you wanted to use that. But tiny, you have to find that tiny heat shrink tubing though. But this will work. You just gotta keep an eye on it. Don't let you know, fray or nothing. But it's gonna be down on this thing, so I don't have to worry about that because this is the part that I can actually tape to the plane, and then I know it ain't gonna go nowhere after that. As long as it's good now, I'll make it. Now I've got a pretty long wire to reach these wires. So now I'm sure there's improvements that can be made on this too. So if anybody wants to make the improvements like using the heat shrink tube and stuff like that, I'm sure you could do a lot neater job than me. But this should work. It always has in the past. Okay, there. Now I got where I'm going to hook it up right here. I will, when I'm done, I will tape this down, run a test to make sure I might you tape it down just a little bit, spread on them, but enough to where I can still get to the little plug. Just plug it up right there. I probably won't have to tape this down. It ain't gonna flop around that much. Now it's really almost time to build the plane, but I'm not going to yet because I want to go ahead and put the plane just halfway together, and I'm going to leave enough room. Alright, I'm going to go ahead, I think now, and fray the wires back. Man, they put a nice plug thing on there. It's going to be hard to fray them wires back because it's got that tubing there. You know what I'm talking about? See that? Sure. Usually they don't have that, so I'm going to have to cut that away a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to try to break into tapping into these wires without killing them. Woohoo! Gave me a little curveball with this little plug there. You know what? I think I got her enough. Alright, I got that plug, that little, whatever that wrapping was. Now I'm going to fray a little bit of positive and a little bit of negative away from each one. Boy, that is just tight on this plane. Alright. Man, I wish I had a three-way adapter. So this is horrible. I may have to add one of these. See this, like it looks like it plugs up to the battery. I've got to get one of them and maybe hook up there and then do it, and then take one of these. I may have to make a three-way adapter for this. Alright. So I'm just going to have to make the adapter. So I'm going to need one of these plugs and another plug. I'll be right back. Okay, I've decided I am going to use an adapter, but I don't have an adapter, so I had to make one. So what I did was I got this little thing right here. It's that's the same plug as a battery, and this plug is the same thing that a battery hooks into. And so I'm going to take these wires that I ran from the camera, and I'm going to plug it up to here. Then I can plug this up. Remember now, the camera wires will be plugged up to this. I'll plug this up to the airplane. I'm going to plug this up to the airplane. Then I'm going to plug the battery in here, and the camera wires will be hooked up to this. Instead of, I was going to fray a little wire here and a little wire here, and then solder my camera wires I was going to fray a little wire on these, insulation back, spray a little of the insulation back, and then I was going to actually tap these wires. I'm going to cut them to fit in a minute around, well, of course, negative, positive. Then I would have wrapped this wire around that wire and wrapped this wire around that wire. But it's just so, they don't leave me much wire, and I'm a little worried that I might not be able to get that real good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this, and I'm going to tap, this is my camera wires, and I'm going to put them right to this. So what I'm going to do, man, I think I could still make this a little shorter though. That's what I ought to do, make that a little shorter still. I'm gonna make this adapter a little bit shorter. Can't make it much shorter though, it's gonna be hard to do. I guess I'll leave it like this. Okay, so now it's time, I believe, probably, to hook these wires up and see how much wire I need to trim off this and get this kind of starting to go together. So I'm going to go ahead and hook these wires up to the airplane. I guess this is how this goes, huh? Oh yeah. Yeah, I really do need to see if this airplane's going to work first. Okay, and I'll try to turn on the airplane before I do anything else after this. Alright. Now, let's see what's going on here with the wires. We want to get them in there because this could be the permanent seal here. And I know it takes a screw there probably. Where would the screw go? There, right there. Looks like there, and maybe even there. Oh no, don't take one screw up front. I wonder if that came with in the box here, or in this. Let me look for that screw. Probably in here. There's some extra blades for it. larger. Now, here we go. 2 screws. That looks like it might go. So the landing, now the landing gear will push in probably. I bet you that's an extra screw. And they gave you 2 screws for that. Alright, we'll take the screw out. We use screwdrivers. Use their screwdriver, get to use it. The screwdriver came with it too, I say. Put in this little screw here. And let's just make sure the little plane works first. Now, this is about time for that. Oh my, did I get that in? Did it feel like it? One now, little screw going nice and good for you. Give me a hard time. Maybe the first time in. Right there. Okay, that's more than enough for that. Okay, yeah, it's in there. Oh yeah. And if you think that that little tab won't hold, look. It holds pretty good, the little tab does. But if you're too worried, you can cut you a thin piece of tape to fit right over that. And, you know, it'll hold it a little more. Okay, now I've got my wires coming through from my camera. Got this. Where's my little adapter I made, baby? Okay, here it is. Made my little adapter. I'm going to hook that into that. But probably I'll cut these wires a lot shorter. But not too short. Okay, now, I just want to make sure that the plane's going to come on. Where is the battery for the plane? Okay. Alright, I'm going to probably need the controller. I've never gotten it out yet. I don't know what to take here. Triple A. Ooh, I might have some. Turned off, baby. Good. Okay, after you come in, I've got the now we got the insulation off of the wire. Got the wire exposed. I got my adapter that I made. Now remember, if you don't have an adapter, you got to spray a little bit of this insulation away on the positive and negative, and take these positive and negative wires right here and wrap them around that. But that was just looking to be a little tricky. But that's what I've done on all my others. But I'm going to try this. Now I'm going to take the positive of these 2 wires to the positive of my camera wire, and I'm going to hook them together. Ooh la la. Okay. Man, that little camera wire is so thin. I want to make sure I get it wrapped good. Okay. Now, I'm going to take tape and tape that up pretty good. Tape them up. Trying to pull that tape tight without pulling on the wire tight. They kind of try to use their fingernail kind of to pull it around. And that last bit just kind of give it a little twist. You're probably going to, you could use heat shrink though, and boy, it'd be a lot nicer, but it's going to be tricky to use heat shrink this close to everything, but it's probably you can. I'm just lazy, and I'm pretty crude methods here. But this is done as cheaply as possible, that's for sure. Now, if you really want to do it real cheap, you tap right into those main wires there, and when you plug it up, your camera comes on. It should come on this time too. We're going to give it a test start out here in a few minutes, whenever I get done, whatever it takes to be done. Okay. Alright. You know, I might just snip that right there just a little. Don't want any of that to get in there. Alright, take that up. Pray everything works when I go hook it up. Alright, I'm just getting some tape that I've got off the table here. That's it for you. It's this tape, any kind of tape that's thin tape. Try to make it thin. Real light thin tape, that's what this is. It's really not electrical tape. I don't think you need that. That electric tape is way too thick. Okay, still got a little wire exposed there and there, so I'm going to run a little more tape. Little bits at a time until I feel like I've got it covered good enough where I won't never short out. Oh, that's starting to look about right. One more piece right here to kind of hold this together good. See what happened there? Well, I didn't cut my piece long enough, really. Yeah, I don't like that. But it probably will be alright. But I've got all the other real good. I'm gonna let it slide. It's pretty good. Now there's one more piece at least down there. Oh, might be a fresh piece. Might not. Yeah, okay, I got a little water on me. This ain't the tape I usually use neither, but it'll work. Ooh, that's a big piece, ain't it? Cut that down just a little more. Yeah, you take the mess. Making a mess with it. Gotta make sure them wires ain't exposed though. Just make sure wires are exposed on me. What's going on? There we go. Now if you want to, just to make real sure, you can heat that tape up just a little bit, you know, and it'll bring out the sticky in it. Yeah. That should get it to hold just a little bit more, a little better. Ooh, is that? No, that's not wire, is it? There's no wire exposed there. Oh wait, that's wire. That's thread from the tape. You know that? That's a little bit of thread from the tape. There we go. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to plug this into this. Slide all that, cram it up in there the best I can. That's why I don't like using all these other plugs. Now room becomes unavailable. If I have to, I will splice it right in there. But I think I'm going to be able to do this. Oops. I don't know if I'll be able to put my battery door on. I might take my battery door off. I've done that with a few of them. Where's that battery? That came with it, alright. Here we go, the moment of truth. I'm double checking everything. Here in a minute I'll probably pull this through. And I can actually pull this up if I want to, but I don't want to. Alright. Here we go. Double check one more time. Make sure everything is good. And see what I did there. Okay. If this don't work, this film won't be showed. Turn it on. Alright. Gotta keep remembering that switch on. There we go. The camera's on and the plane is on. Now I'll see if I can put all this junk in there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can do this. There you go. And I'm flying FPV with it. And when I don't want the camera, I just unplug it right there and fly it normally. So I did it. I've got her done. Let's put it on. Turn it on. Oh yeah. She'll fly. I'd say she'll fly just fine. Oh yeah. Oh, that battery is brand new, and you can see that it needs charging. But remember, I just took it out of the box, so yeah. Yeah, I believe it's going to be okay. Look at that mess, huh? But it's a good mess. I'm sure now that you've seen it like this, y'all can probably devise even a better way than I've got it. But it suffices, and you can fly FPV, and now I can use my camera for other things. So what I'm going to do, and when I first fly, for its first flight, what I'm going to do is this. I will take its camera off for its first flight. And that's all you do. And then the reason I've got that clear tape there is when I pull this off, it doesn't do nothing there, and I can put another tab on when I do go to flight FPV. I put my camera back up. I didn't hurt any of my adapters. And that's how I tap in to the hot. This time, right there is the one coming from the airplane. This one right there. And these are the ones coming from my camera. And all I did was I had an extra one of these and this, and I made this really simple adapter. And if I didn't have the adapter, I just would have took this wire and spliced it in to the hot wire there. Then I would have took this wire and spliced it in to the negative wire here. And that would have turned the camera on when I plugged up the plane. But I used an adapter so I didn't have to splice any of these wires down here. I hope this got you going. This should get you going, you know. No doubt about it. Now I'm gonna still, I shouldn't have took that off yet, but yeah, that's about right. I want to take this down into place, because this is going to stay with the plane anyway, so I don't really need to put a piece underneath there. I just want to put a little piece of tape there to always kind of hold that down for when I'm flying it without the camera. I don't want it flopping, you know, like that. So I could probably stick it down in there and then put some hot glue in there and actually plug it in like that with the camera, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it like this. It'll be fine. Well, that's it. I hope you kind of seen how I done it, and good luck with all your projects.